Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys. Just sipping my water. You guys forearm shot. And let's talk about this. This is stuff I see all the time on social media, all through my feed from all these crazy keto people. And I've even had it in my own comments, and people have tried to argue with me that butter is some sort of superfood. And I don't know if these people simply are incapable of reading nutrition labels to look and see what's actually in butter as far as analysis goes, to realize it's generally devoid of many vitamins and minerals. Kind of what we think of as a superfood. Hey, there's a lot of nutrition in here. Well, there's a lot of empty calories in butter, but if empty calories are how we define a superfood, like a bunch of calories, high calorie ratio, low amounts of vitamins and minerals, if that's your definition of a superfood, then why don't you just drink soda? Why don't you just eat French fries? Why don't you just eat ice cream at that point? You see where I'm going? They have about the same number of calories versus their vitamins and minerals that butter does. Is that your definition? I don't understand where these people are coming from. And it's because they believe that saturated fat is generally good, but it doesn't really appear to be. And I'm not saying saturated fat is the most evil thing in the world. I'm not saying in moderation it's even going to hurt you. Okay? It's an excess. But how do you get an excess? I don't know. Let's just add a bunch of butter to our food. And the same people will stand here and cry about refined oils. Well, why are they bad? Why are refined oils bad? Well, they're linked to inflammation, but they're really not, are they? Not in the data. All right, they're linked to inflammation. They've been refined and stripped of all their vitamins and minerals. Well, that's not entirely true either. They've been stripped of some of them. Yeah, it's true. Fiber's been taken out. Protein's been taken out. See where we're going here? They've been modified molecularly to some extent. Just like butter. Butter is the same thing. How is there any different? It's been emulsified. Okay? There's actually is a lot of discussion of how much that emulsification process changes the absorption rate of it. How fast we absorb it, how easy we absorb it. It's a problem. You really want a faster absorbing fat? See how well that worked out with sugars when we decided to make them more fast absorbing? Okay, all the protein's been stripped out. What's one of the big perks, the enormous perk of dairy? The protein. Okay, what's the three reasons most of us who are into nutrition and training and everything else, why do we love dairy? The ultra high quality protein. Oh, that's way up there. The B12, the calcium. Not necessarily in that alert. A lot of people don't think of the B12. I do. Those are why dairy is a superfood. Dairy in general. Extremely high amounts of highly bioavailable protein. Calcium. B12, baby. Only thing it even competes with it is like red meat for B12. How much of that's left in butter? Like none? 1%, 2%, maybe 3% of any of that. It's all been stripped out. It's been refined out of the butter. All the reasons that we love dairy have been stripped out of the butter. You're left with the one thing. We say, well, maybe the large amounts of saturated fat in dairy may not be the best thing. They seem to be fairly benign when in the whole milk, still to some extent. Okay. Yogurts and certain cheeses, there seems to be certain protective benefits due to the live cultures. They seem to counteract any negatives. You start getting into heavy cream, it starts becoming a problem. Right? Now we're down to a junk food, and then butter is the next step of processing. And I can't believe people are like, well, it's just heavy cream that's been skimmed and then churned. And I'm like, well, canola oil and soybean oil are just vegetables that have been pressed and stripped of their fiber. Do you see how that starts to sound? Explain to me how it's less refined. It's just a refined fat. That's all it is. It's just like the vegetable oils that you same people are scared of. It's not in the original form. It doesn't have all the nutrition, right? Peanut's perfectly healthy. A lot of these plants that they're making the oils from, they're actually pretty good. And I don't think vegetable oils are the worst thing in the world. I actually think, me personally, you want my opinion, I think butter's probably worse. I think it's considerably worse. But I'll be willing to, for purposes of argument's sake, say it's equal. Through the same pathways, for the exact same reasons. You even look at the blood work. People who add lots of butter, their lipids look worse. Their lipids look worse. And again, you can't even make these arguments with keto people because they're so ignorant that they will jump back at you discussing the Ansel Keys studies and act as if we haven't done any other research in the modern world, that all nutritional science ended in the 70s. Yes, we have in fact done additional nutritional science research from the 80s and forward. I know it sounds crazy, but in the last 30, 35 years, there have actually been studies regarding cardiovascular disease and diet. I know it sounds like a crazy conspiracy theory, but we've actually done a lot of research. You guys notice this is definitely a demographic that ignores the fact that we've done modern research, sometimes in their own lifetimes, you know. They always go back to the old stuff, and then they'll say things like, well, dietary cholesterol doesn't raise blood cholesterol. Well, in some people it does, actually, genetically. That's not true. But you're right. For 3/4 of the population, it doesn't. But large amounts of saturated fat does. Again, not saying in moderation. It is in excess. But what is a fantastic way to get excess? I don't know. Let's add butter to everything. It's not a superfood, it's a junk food. Now, am I even saying in moderation that this is going to hurt you? No. Very few foods in moderation are going to hurt you. Look, if you just have to have a little butter every now and then on your whatever toast, by all means. By all means. But it's these people who are like, I've got to fry my eggs in butter for 3 meals a day. I've got to slather butter on all of my vegetables. Probably not ideal for your health. It's definitely not ideal for your fat loss and weight loss. Saturated fat as a calorie is the most easily stored as body fat by a small margin. It's most efficient, right, for humans. Not saying it's by a huge margin, but it is the most efficiently stored as body fat. Probably not ideal for your health. And again, some saturated fat is a decent chunk of your calories. It's probably not that bad if your diet is fantastic around that. Lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, lots of fermented foods, and those things. You exercise vigorously. Okay, probably won't harm you at all. But that's not what these people are doing and promoting. They are promoting it in excess. And this adding butter to everything and calling butter a superfood instead of just saying, hey, it's some empty junk calories that I enjoy the taste of added to my stuff. That's the problem. That is what it is. It should kind of be counted as a little bit of your junk food, your discretionary calories. It's not healthy. It's not a superfood. It doesn't have benefits. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.